Jeremy Pruitt, Florida State.
Most expected at least some drop-off this season from a Seminole defense that was ranked second in the country last year. In addition to losing defensive coordinator Mark Stoops, the Seminoles lost 7 defensive starters, including 2 first-round NFL draft picks. What Jeremy Pruitt's Seminole defense did this season is incredible. Florida State leads the country in several defensive categories, including scoring defense. These Noles are giving up just over 10 points a game. Passing yards allowed, only 152 a game, and interceptions and defensive touchdowns. No defense in the country has been more offensive than Jeremy Pruitt's Seminoles. They scored 8 defensive touchdowns. This big play defense also specializes in preventing the big play. This season, only 17 passes against Florida State went for 20 yards or more. Jeremy Pruitt helped defensive back LaMarcus Joyner become the school's first Thorpe finalist in 20 years, and his 2 freshman safeties are candidates for ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jeremy Pruitt was a 2-time All-State defensive back at Alabama's Plainview High. Today, a new honor for the defensive backs coach and defensive coordinator for the top-ranked team in the country, the Florida State Seminoles. Jeremy Pruitt is a Broyles Award finalist.
First of all, I guess Red will probably take that quote from Terrence, and it'll be in Auburn by the time this deal's over with. But, yeah, he's got it. Now, I noticed they put all the offensive guys on this end, and they put me and Pat and Bob on the other end. And this morning we got to spend some time with Coach Broyles, and it was very interesting listening to him talk about the substitution rule. And it was obviously as new to me. I never heard anything about it. But you could only substitute one player at a time and all that. I wish they would install that rule today, because now when you look at these fast-paced offenses, you're sitting there trying to figure out the personnel, and there's 17 guys out there on the field. But it's a tremendous honor to be here today, and I want to thank, like everybody else, the Rotary Club, Club 99, and especially you, Coach Broyles. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and my dad is a football coach, and my grandfather was a Baptist preacher. And but when you look at the guys who came out from under you, and obviously you had to promote them and give them opportunities and just help those guys. My grandfather used to tell me, he said, Jeremy, when you pray, don't pray to be blessed. Don't pray to be blessed, pray to be a blessing. And it's obvious that you've been a blessing to folks over your course of your career. And I just want to truly say that it's an honor to be here today. I've heard some guys talk about, their fathers, and I can't leave here today unless I talk about my father. And, and my mom. Since this is live streaming, I got to throw mom in there too. But it's getting Christmas time. But, first of all, it's hard for me to believe that I'm sitting up here at this prestigious awards ceremony. When I had my dreams of what I wanted to be, I knew from a very small child I wanted to be just like my father, and I wanted to be a football coach. Now, I didn't want to be a head football coach at Florida State, Alabama, somewhere like that. I just wanted to be a ball coach, and just trying to follow in his footsteps. And I can remember him. He pretty much babysitted me. My mom, she worked. My dad went to the field house at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's up there washing uniforms. I'm right there with him. And I saw one of his former coaches a couple of weeks ago. I was out on road recruiting. He said, "Let me ask you something, Jeremy." He said, "Do you remember that time? You were in the 4th grade." He said, "Your dad had just took the job. We just took over this program. And, we were 0-4, and we're sitting in there. It's about 2 in the morning, and we're trying to figure out how we can score points." He said, you're 9 years old. And he said, "You just popped up right in the middle of the meeting and said, 'Well, I think if y'all had run this play one more time, we might have scored.'" He said, "Your dad jerked off his belt, and he wore you out right there in front of all of us." But all I can say is I'm proud he started winning after that. That cut down on my whippings. But, No, I just wanted to bring up my dad because he was very instrumental in my life. Just watching the positive effect he had on the people in our community. You know, he's been at the same school now for I think it's 26 years, and it's where he graduated from. He was a quarterback there. I was a quarterback there. My little brother was a quarterback there, and now my dad coaches my son, who's a junior, and he's the quarterback there. And my dad will be the first to tell you I'm the worst parent he's ever had. I called him up. They'd lost a game, and you know, I mean, probably as soon as he got on the bus, it's Friday night. I'm sitting there. I'm trying to catch all the games, get to score. I've got play-by-play in between our meetings, and you know, I called my dad up, and he answers the phone. Yes, and I said, "Well, why'd you do this for?" And he just said a little something. I said, "Well, why'd you do this?" He said, "Listen, let me tell you something." He said, I ain't let nobody talk to me like this for 33 years, and I'm not going to start with you. If you don't like the way I'm coaching him, you can take him somewhere else. I said, "Yes, sir." But I just wanted to bring that up. He's still coaching today, and my son's still playing for him. But I just want to introduce my fiance, Casey East. We're getting married next May, and I'm gonna brag on her a little bit here. You know, so this fall starts, and every day, every lunch, and every supper, she comes in there with my packed meal. You know, and all the other coaches, they're just kind of looking at me, throwing their eyes up, you know. So after about 6 weeks, Sal Sinceri looks over at me. He says, "Hey, bro, let me tell you something. That's going to stop once y'all get married." So I'm going to challenge her today in front of all of y'all to see if this continues. I'll tweet it to let you know. But no, this is really the first season that we've been together, and she's really made it easy for me. She's helped me in recruiting, and she's kind of been my little personal assistant. So it's been fantastic. I wanted to talk about Coach Saban. I wanted to mention him because you know I'm a high school coach at Hoover, Alabama. I'm an assistant coach. I'm not even a head coach. He gets the job at Alabama in 2007. I think it's January the 2nd, and you know he's been in Miami for a couple of years, and he's kind of away from the high school recruiting, and he wanted to hire some folks, high school coaches in the state of Alabama. And I'm here to tell you, you know, and maybe I'm prejudiced, but I think the best teachers in all of sports is high school football coaches. They take the guys and they mold them, you know, from the ground up. All we do when we get them now is we tweak them a little bit. But Coach Saban had a vision that he wanted to, you know, kind of take over the state at that time from Auburn. That's what it was, take over the state from Auburn. Coach Tuberville was there, and he wanted to hire several high school coaches to help off the field. And, you know, Coach Probst, the guy I was working for at Hoover Rush Probst, he suggested to Coach, he said, "Why don't you hire an assistant coach?" He said, "That would help the high school, the head coaches in this state, you know, every year, why don't you hire an assistant coach? It will be motivation for the assistants. It will help us, you know." He said, obviously, you know, you can get some of these head coaches, but hire an assistant coach. And for whatever, I know why. I sit here and tell everybody this. I played at Alabama. My dad was an influential head coach in the state of Alabama, and I probably know a lot of the high school coaches in Alabama. But the real reason Coach Saban gave me a job was because I had 3 guys he wanted. And so you can say, I have a lot of folks say, how did you get picked out of all those guys? I said, well, Josh Chapman, Kerry Murphy, Patrick Crump. So they're like, oh, yeah, I see now. But anyhow, but I'm very thankful that he gave me the opportunity. And not only that he promoted me from within to be a coach on his staff. The next person I would really like to think is Coach Fisher. Jimbo is a fantastic man. not only a football coach, but a fantastic man. I mean, he is a joy to be around. And if I'm ever on one of those shows where you're answering questions, trivia, and you get a lifeline, I'm going to call Jimbo Fisher, because he would be he knows a little bit about everything. And he can tell you how many points the Dream Team in 1984 averaged, and rebounds and all that. But he is a fantastic guy to be around. And I want to thank him for going out on a limb to hiring a guy that's only been a college assistant for 3 years. You think about that. I mean, I was a defensive back coach at Alabama, where everybody in the country knows who the DB coach is, and that's Nick Saban. Everybody knows that. I'm not ashamed to say it. He is the DB coach. Everybody knows it. All you got to do is run the film, run the film. And, for Coach Fisher to go out on a limb to offer me a coordinator's job, I owe him a lot. And for him to believe in me and have faith, and I'm truly thankful for that. The next thing, and we've all said it, and we'll all say it, there's not any of us up here that's made any plays. Last time I checked, I didn't make any tackles this year. Rhett didn't throw no passes. I mean, it's about the players. And, at Florida State, you mentioned Coach Andrews. They've been playing good football, good defensive football at Florida State as long as I've been alive. And, that's kind of, the trademark there is to play real solid physical defense. And, those guys that were coming back on the defense this year, we lost a lot of guys, but there was 5 seniors coming back. And Coach Fisher called them all in a group and said, hey, we're going to change our philosophy defensively. We're going to be a little more aggressive, a little more attacking style, and you guys are going to be the leaders of it. And I can say this, those guys have bought in wholeheartedly, and, and there were some growing pains at times, but for us to be able to go in there and do a wholesale change defensively in what they were doing in the past, and for the head coach to have the vision to let us do that, has just been a remarkable transition. There's no way we could have done it without the players, and I just want to say thank you to them. But just thank you for having us here. This is a wonderful experience. I'll never forget it the rest of my life, and probably the most gratifying thing that's been a part of this whole deal was Coach Broyles this morning when we sat around the table and listened to you tell the stories. That's the best part of this whole trip, and I just want to say thank you. It's an honor to be here.